more clauses, that's all. But then in 1842 it was very lengthy.
Okay.
Now there has to be a depot to receive the emigrants, to lodge them. There had to be a place for them to have their food cooked, and they would be fed together, and sanitation was very important at this point of time. So all this came into being at this point. So the agent was employed, they appointed a protector of immigrants, and the country importing these people, which was Mauritius first, they appointed their agent. And the first agent was one, I forget his name just now, Rogers. One Mr. Rogers was appointed as the first agent for Mauritius. So he would recruit the people, he would appoint recruiters, and over the period of time, under the regulated system, the system of recruitment changed and improved, because there were touts who were doing malpractices. There were people who were being kidnapped. And from 1842, it became imperative to take 25 women per 100 men. So it became important. But it was a very difficult task in India to get women to go. And this was not only from 1842, it was throughout the immigration system. It became very difficult to get the men to take their families or their women with them.
Okay.
And a lot of malpractices took place also at the same time for this region. So in Calcutta, the East India Company started a depot which became known as the Bhawanipur depot, because it was located in the area of Bhawanipur.
Right. We'll come to Bhawanipur depot very soon.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you that which are the regions, when you have got the overall picture of the migration of indentured workers, which are the regions in India which contributed to the maximum outflux, and which are the regions of the world or the countries in the world to which these people were sent?
All right. The East India Company had 3 provinces in India.
Right.
One was the Bengal province, which consisted of Bengal, Bihar, Orissa.
Right.
Then you have the Bombay province, then you have the Madras province.
Right.
So the maximum people they could get to go to only Mauritius, not anywhere in the world, only Mauritius, was from Bengal, Bihar and Orissa. The maximum was from Bihar.
Okay.
Because the people in Bengal were already getting jobs in Calcutta with the development of Calcutta under the British occupation, so they did not have to search for jobs and all. But the people from Bihar who were coming to Calcutta to look for jobs, or they were recruited from Bihar, they were brought here, and they were the maximum outflux was from Bihar. Okay. And then only to Mauritius also.
Okay. And then gradually, as indentureship became more and more known and more acceptable as a practice, which are the other regions of India from which people went to different colonies?
There were only 3 ports that were authorized to ship out immigrants. One was Bombay, Madras, Calcutta. Nowhere else. And now and then there were embargo from Bombay or from Madras because of malpractices. So you will find Bombay for 5 years did not send any immigrant from that area at all. And you will find that Madras now and then had a little problem, but mostly it was a better state of affairs in Madras. But Calcutta continued throughout.
Okay. And which countries of the world did they go to?
Up to 1845 it was Mauritius. From 1834 to 1845 it was Mauritius only.
And then?
And then Mauritius indicated they won't be needing more than 500 men per year for the development of their country. But when the East India Company and the British, the English Parliament and the Crown saw that the progress in Mauritius has been so tremendous that they decided to send people to Trinidad, Jamaica and British Guiana. Okay. So the Colonial Emigration Act that was passed in 1844 or 1845 approved of sending immigrants to these 3 places further.
Okay, and then there were migrations which happened to places like Fiji.
Oh, that was much later.
To South Africa.
South Africa also was much later. South Africa, it took them 3 years of correspondence to get permission from the British, from India, to send workers to there. And even the governor from there wrote that our workers who are chased out, the Africans who are chased out from their homes by the various tribes now and then, don't stay in one place for more than 3 months or 6 months. Please send the Indians to teach them manners. This is all in the records. You will find them in the books, in the archives, this correspondence. So please send the Indians to teach them manners and how to stay for so many years at one place and be faithful, hardworking, docile, and so on. All this correspondence took them a good 3 years before they were sent. They were sent also at the same time as the French one took place in 1860, because in 1858, when this correspondence started from Natal, there was a problem of the mutiny, Sepoy mutiny in India. So the East India Company went out, the Crown took over, so there was a gap of settling down for the Crown. So it was not till 1860. And by then also the French had given an undertaking that they won't get African workers to Reunion Island and all, and they would require 6,000 Indian men per year to develop the island.
Okay. So here is the British colonies, that is the ones in the Caribbean, Mauritius, South Africa.
Yeah.
But what about the other colonial powers of that time, the French? Of course, you mentioned, but which are the places, the French territories they went to? What about the Dutch? What about the Danes?
No, first it was with the French. It started with Reunion, and after Reunion, they were sent to Martinique and the French Guiana, which is Cayenne. Then they were sent to Guadeloupe and the dependencies of Guadeloupe, and all slowly. But they never repatriated their workers, and I told you earlier, they would make that contract of 5 years into 10 years by giving them work alternate days and making their conditions so bad that they could not avail of the free passage back to India, neither could they pay a passage back to India. So they were forced to stay on in these places.
Okay. Now, something which is of great sentimental importance to this 25 or 27 million Indian diaspora, and that is where it all began for them, in Calcutta at Bhawanipur. We have heard a lot about Bhawanipur, but through your research, through your work, through your understanding, even your visits, and you are mainly based out of Calcutta. Right now we are in Mussoorie. What is this Bhawanipur depot all about? And can it at some point become a memorial or a place where people of Indian origin can come and see some museum or see some archives?
We are working on that, but the Bhawanipur depot started in 1843-44, and it was for the emigrants going to Mauritius. Then from 1845-46 until 1854, it also lodged the emigrants going to British Guiana, Jamaica, Trinidad. It was after 1854 that the others were shifted to other depots because it became unmanageable and the crowds were too much. Everybody was now volunteering on their own to go to Mauritius. It was not difficult to recruit people. People coming to Calcutta were walking in the depot freely to say, I want to emigrate. And so it became impossible to lodge 2,000-3,000 people under one roof. So that is when, in 1854, Guadeloupe, Jamaica, Trinidad shifted out.
Okay.
And Bhawanipur depot continued with the Mauritius emigrants until 1879.